This episode is provided by Thomas Allgaier and Frinnis, based on the most relevant LinkedIn posts about AI in B2B marketing in calendar weeks 11 and 12. Frinnis is a B2B market research company that supports enterprise marketing teams in unlocking the full potential of their customer data with the help of AI. You can find more info in the description. Welcome to the deep dive. So what if I told you that tomorrow, the traditional SEO playbook you've spent the last 10 years perfecting.
And probably hundreds of thousands of dollars executing, let's be honest.
Right, exactly. What if I told you that entire playbook is just going to be completely useless? Because today, we're basically tearing down the way B2B marketing has operated for the last decade.
Yeah, it's a complete teardown.
We're looking strictly at the most insightful, truly disruptive trends curated from LinkedIn during calendar weeks 11 and 12, and we're translating all that noise into pure signal for your strategy.
Exactly. We are cutting past the generic hype to focus on three massive structural shifts happening in the market right now. We're going to examine the sudden evolution of AI search visibility, then we'll break down the mechanics of signal-based outbound, and finally we'll explore the reality of agentic go-to-market strategies and autonomous workflow design.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before you can even think about automating your sales outreach or, designing a brilliant marketing campaign, your buyers actually have to find you.
Right. Top of the funnel.
Yeah, that top-of-funnel discovery phase is undergoing a seismic shift right now. We are moving away from traditional SEO or search engine optimization towards something fundamentally different. We're talking AEO, Answer Engine Optimization, or GEO, Generative Engine Optimization.
What's fascinating here is that the underlying mechanism of how a buyer discovers a B2B solution has just fundamentally changed. Samantha Stewart recently shared a really brilliant analysis on this shift. She pointed out that AI it simply does not show you 10 blue links to choose from.
No, it doesn't give you options to click through.
Right. It synthesizes the information and provides a direct, singular recommendation. So the legacy question every marketing team used to ask was, how do we rank on page 1 of Google? But the new, much harder question is, will an AI model actually recommend my brand over my competitor?
Okay, wait, I have to play devil's advocate here. Isn't this just SEO with a trendy new acronym?
I mean, a lot of people think that, yeah.
Because if the goal is just getting an AI to read your website instead of Google's crawler, marketers are just going to pump out hundreds of AI-generated blog posts, stuff them with the right keywords, and try to trick ChatGPT, right? Feels like trying to cram for an open book test, but bringing entirely the wrong textbook.
Yeah, and the data proves that the old textbook is completely obsolete. George Kushtaria recently shared some hard numbers on where large language models actually pull their answers from.
Oh, this was wild.
It really is.
Yeah.
When a B2B buyer asks Perplexity or ChatGPT for, say, the best CRM software, the number one sources those models cite are Reddit at 11.29% and LinkedIn at 11.03%.
Wait, Reddit. Above actual corporate websites.
Above corporate websites, above major news syndicates, above Wikipedia. Those human-to-human forum platforms are sitting way above your perfectly optimized corporate landing page.
Okay, but I want to challenge that.
Yeah.
Because if Reddit and LinkedIn are the most trusted sources with the highest algorithmic weighting, won't B2B marketers just pivot their automated bot farms to spam Reddit threads?
That's the instinct, sure.
Like, if I know the AI is reading a subreddit about enterprise software, I could just deploy 10 bots to have a fake conversation about how great my product is. Why wouldn't that work?
Because that assumes AI visibility is a content output problem, which it isn't. Julian and Seguiers-Miller specifically addressed this. She argued that AI visibility is actually a trust distribution problem.
A trust distribution problem. Okay, explain that.
Think of your brand's reputation like a financial credit score. It no longer matters how loudly you shout your own excellent credit score on your own website. The AI model is essentially checking with 50 independent banks across the internet to see if your check's actually clear.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. So if you spam Reddit with fake bot-driven reviews, the models recognize the lack of genuine historical corroboration. They know it's synthetic.
And Miller cited that startup Tally as the perfect case study for this, right?
Yes.
They are an 8-person form building company, 8 people. And they are consistently beating massive, heavily funded legacy incumbents in AI recommendations.
Yeah. And how did they do it? Their founder, Marie Martin, spent literally years organically building authentic public trust in indie developer communities and on Reddit.
And she wasn't just dropping promotional links, right? She was genuinely solving problems.
Exactly. She was answering questions, being a real human, Miller calls that crossing the corroboration threshold. It's the moment when enough independent, credible sources, real humans with historical account authority, say the same positive things about your brand.
And once you cross that threshold, the AI commits to recommending you.
Right. And you absolutely cannot fake that with an automated blog farm or a sudden burst of, synthetic Reddit comments.
That requires a total philosophical shift for marketing teams. I mean, Bill Habib advised that teams have to move away from traditional content marketing and start building content systems.
Content systems, exactly.
Because a standard, rambling 2,000-word blog post might have worked for Google keyword density, but it is terrible for an LLM trying to extract a quick fact. You have to structure your data so the AI can actually parse it. Real case studies, verifiable numbers, clear problem and solution architectures.
And Damon Pastulka captured the essence of this transition perfectly. He basically said, clarity wins.
Period. Yeah.
AI models natively boost businesses that can consistently and simply explain customer problems and their subsequent solutions. The models ignore the company's hoarding complex tech jargon in an attempt to sound, sophisticated.
Right. Trying to sound smart actually hurts you now.
Exactly. To be the recommended choice, you have to be the clearest voice in the room, not the loudest.
That is so true. And I think that sets up our second major shift perfectly. Let's assume you've built that trusted visibility. You've crossed the corroboration threshold, and buyers are starting to enter your orbit. The next logical step for a B2B team is reaching out.
The outbound motion.
Exactly, outbound. But looking at the insights from calendar weeks 11 and 12, the current instinct is completely backwards. Teams are using new AI tools to blast emails to literally everyone with a pulse. And the smartest organizations are running in the exact opposite direction.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we're witnessing what Yuri Zaremba accurately described as the tragedy of the AI SDR market.
It really is a tragedy.
The vendor landscape right now is locked in a race to the bottom. Everyone is promising to send more outbound messages faster and cheaper. And the mathematical result of that race is flooded executive inboxes and completely collapsed response rates across the entire B2B sector.
Yeah, Kevin N. shared a hilarious but incredibly depressing observation about this. He looked at the new AI SDR patents being filed right now, and the underlying technology is literally just generate email, send email, auto-reply.
That's it?
That's it. There is no strategic layer. Freedom Dimlau put it bluntly.
This is just taking the spray and pray approach that already wasn't working in 2023 and giving it a high-pressure fire hose.
Yeah, you're not innovating. You are just automating mediocrity at a terrifying scale.
Right.
And when you scale spam, the communication channel dies. But the viable alternative emerging from the smartest operators is signal-based outbound. Niall O'Gorman pointed out a fundamental truth about machine learning. AI will relentlessly optimize whatever data you feed it.
Okay, so if you feed it garbage.
You get optimized garbage.
Okay.
If you feed the system basic activity metrics like email opens or link clicks, it will optimize to get you more meaningless activity. You have to feed the AI actual change signals. Let's clearly define the mechanism of a change signal versus an activity metric, just so we're all on the same page. An activity metric is like someone accidentally leaving an email open on their second monitor while they go to lunch.
Right, it needs nothing.
But a change signal is a new vice president of operations joining your target account, or a company publicly announcing a new round of funding, or a sudden concentrated spike in hiring for a specific technical role. Those are moments that indicate structural intent.
And Guraj Pandurangi summarized this as the shift from scaling effort to scaling intelligence. Instead of blasting a purchase list of 10,000 names and hoping for a 1% conversion, you're executing intent-driven outreach in real time.
Right.
The AI is monitoring the web for those specific change signals and drafting a highly contextual message the exact moment the signal occurs.
So what does this all mean for a RevOps leader? If you're listening to this and you are under pressure to cut costs this quarter, your immediate instinct might be to just buy an off-the-shelf AI SDR tool today, point it at your CRM, fire half your junior sales team, and let the software rip.
Oh, please don't do that.
But why shouldn't a company just do that? It sounds cheaper.
Because the failure rate of that exact strategy is catastrophic. Edward Gorbis highlighted a recent Deloitte study that serves as a massive reality check for RevOps leaders. Between 50 and 70% of AI SDR tools churn within the first 12 months of implementation.
Wow. 50 to 70% churn.
Yes, and the underlying software isn't necessarily broken. The CRM data it relies on is a complete disaster.
Oh, right, because over 68% of critical sales data lives outside the CRM in random spreadsheets, Slack messages, or sticky notes on someone's monitor.
Exactly. Amin Salim made a profound point regarding this dynamic. AI SDRs are essentially just cloning machines. They do not invent strategy. They clone what is already there.
So if your CRM is filled with duplicate contacts, people who left their jobs 3 years ago, and a totally undefined ideal customer profile,
The AI will perfectly clone your broken human process. It will execute your bad strategy flawlessly, failing much faster, and burning your domain reputation in the process. Jonathan M.K. refers to this as the mandatory foundation fix.
Foundation fix, I like that.
AI will actively destroy your pipeline strategy if you deploy it on top of unmapped processes and messy data. The organizations actually seeing ROI from AI SDRs are the ones that did the incredibly boring, unglamorous work first.
They clean their rooms.
Yes, they deduplicated their records, they clearly defined their ICP, and they mapped their exact workflows before ever introducing an automated agent.
And that foundation fix is the absolute prerequisite for the third and most significant shift we found in the research: agentic go-to-market and autonomous workflow design. Because once your data is pristine and you're operating on signal-based intent, AI stops functioning as a simple autocomplete tool. It transitions into an autonomous teammate.
And Charlie Saunders provided a great framework for understanding this evolution. He talks about moving from level 2 AI assistance to level 3 and level 4 production-grade AI automation.
Right, let's break that down for the listener.
To understand the mechanics of this, picture a level 2 workflow. You manually copy a prospect's LinkedIn profile, you paste it into Claude, you prompt the AI to write a personalized cold email, you review the text, and then you manually paste it back into your outreach tool.
So the AI assisted you, but you are still the operational bottleneck.
Exactly. You are still doing the heavy lifting.
Right, whereas a level 4 system operates completely autonomously in the background. The agent monitors LinkedIn for the job change, recognizes the signal, queries your data warehouse for any past interactions with that specific prospect, drafts the highly contextual email, and sends it all while you are literally asleep.
And the underlying economics driving this transition are undeniable. Matthew B. Borner broke down this stark mathematical reality. A fully loaded human sales development representative, factoring in base salary, commissions, benefits, software licenses, and management overhead, costs a company between $100,000 and $165,000 a year.
Okay. And an AI.
A dedicated AI sales agent running continuously costs between $6,000 and $24,000 a year.
That is an 85 to 95% cost reduction for top-of-funnel execution. That's insane.
It is. And it isn't just theoretical. Jason M. Lemkin, the founder of Saxtra, recently discussed how a company essentially replaced a 10-person go-to-market team with 1.2 human operators managing 20 AI agents.
1.2 humans.
Yeah, and they completely maintained and in some metrics actually improved their business performance.
And this scalability extends well beyond enterprise tech companies. David Soul documented how he built a 15-role AI operating system to run his entire agency. He deployed specialized agents acting as an AI chief marketing officer, an AI chief operating officer, and an AI chief revenue officer.
Yeah, and Gauss Moussaoui highlighted an open source framework called OpenClaw that takes this to an extreme. It's an AI agent running on a basic $7 a month server.
$7. I mean, if you are listening to this right now and looking at your six-figure marketing tech stack,
yeah,
really absorb that. A $7 server.
It's wild. At 6:00 a.m., the agent autonomously builds lead lists. By 8:00 a.m., it reviews and personalizes email copy. Throughout the day, it sends messages and monitors the inbox, sorting every single reply into a hot lead folder or processing unsubscribes. At 10:00 p.m., it drops a clean daily performance report into a Slack channel.
But notice the built-in restraint of a properly designed system like OpenClaw. It is programmed to only send 2 emails per prospect. It doesn't harass them with a 7-step sequence because it utilizes historical data, proving that after 2 unanswered emails, you're simply trashing your domain deliverability.
Right. That is an autonomous agent making a strategic, data-driven decision, not just executing a volume play.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because there is a massive systemic flaw in how most companies are currently setting up these autonomous agents. Jerry Farr identified it as AI amnesia.
Yes. AI amnesia.
If you don't build the architecture correctly, Your brilliant AI agent suffers from a severe memory deficit.
Farr compared the current state of most AI tools to the movie Groundhog Day.
Oh, I love this analogy.
Right now, when a marketer opens a new session in an AI tool, it starts completely from scratch. It forgets the deep account narrative it distilled yesterday. It forgets the nuanced tone of voice it finally nailed last week. The AI wakes up every single day with zero context.
And if you remember Groundhog Day, the only reason Bill Murray's character eventually escapes the time loop is because he kept his memories. He learned to play the piano by compounding his knowledge over thousands of days. If your AI agents are constantly waking up on February 2nd with zero historical context, they can never improve.
Exactly. And this requires a structural solution, which Farr calls the shared memory hub. He advises placing a central data warehouse, like Snowflake or BigQuery, at the absolute center of your go-to-market stack. Before an AI agent executes a task, it pings the data warehouse to pull historical context.
And then after the agent finishes writing an email or analyzing a call, it writes its findings back into that central hub.
Exactly. The mechanism there is compounding intelligence. If your AI SDR is drafting a Q3 outreach email, it first checks the memory hub and realizes that an AI research agent flagged a relevant Q1 earnings call transcript for that exact account months ago.
So the Q3 email becomes hyper-personalized based on Q1 data.
Right. If your AI system has compounding memory and your competitor's AI has daily amnesia, you're going to win the account every single time.
Absolutely.
But this raises an important question regarding the human element. As we transition into an era of agent swarms, dozens of specialized memory-enabled agents handling research, signals, outreach, and analytics, what is the actual role of the human marketer or seller?
Yeah, that is the existential anxiety vibrating through the B2B sector right now. Are we all just destined to become, like, software babysitters?
Mark Sirkin provided a brilliant framing to answer that. He recently received a highly personalized cold email generated by an AI. The agent successfully scraped his name, his location, and his recent activity. The grammar was flawless.
Okay, sounds good so far.
However, the AI completely hallucinated his business category, making the core pitch entirely irrelevant. Sirkin noted that AI can perfectly replace execution, but it utterly fails at replacing judgment.
Right. He argued that AI makes operators lazy until they fail publicly. The AI basically borrows its underlying hypothesis from the mathematical average of everything that came before it on the internet. Plausible text is incredibly easy to generate now.
Oh, anyone can do it.
But plausible is not the same thing as compelling, and plausible absolutely does not close complex enterprise deals.
Kieran Flanagan highlighted a stark, real-world example of this dichotomy. Coca-Cola recently ran a fully AI-generated holiday marketing campaign. From an execution standpoint, it was incredibly fast and cost-efficient.
But from a market standpoint,
The audience completely rejected it. They described the campaign as soulless, noting it had lost all the historical brand warmth that defined Coca-Cola.
wow. And you have to contrast that failure with Unilever. Unilever is succeeding with AI at scale because they refuse to let the models run wild on execution. They built a heavy, mandatory human strategic layer on top of the technology.
Yes, the human layer is critical.
They created an internal system called Brand DNAI. Every single AI-generated asset must pass through the system, which is strictly managed by humans acting as prompt strategists and AI creative directors. The humans ensure the output aligns with approved brand voice, cultural context, and emotional resonance.
Because the humans are no longer executing the tedious busy work of formatting spreadsheets or drafting introductory paragraphs. They are injecting the empathy, the cultural awareness, and the creative direction.
Because AI possesses zero emotional intelligence.
Exactly. It can optimize a process and predict a probability, but it cannot feel. The marketers who will dominate the next decade won't be the ones who know how to operate the most software tools. They will be the leaders who understand how to apply human judgment to machine scale.
So, what does this all mean? Which brings us to a final provocative thought for you to mull over as you design your strategy for the rest of the year. Elizabeth Hughes shared an insight that fundamentally reframes this entire technological shift. Right now, every B2B company is rushing to sell their newly minted AI-powered solution. But the biggest go-to-market shift of this decade isn't actually about sales funnels or feature lists. It's about education.
Education over selling.
Exactly. Your buyers are overwhelmed.
Mhm.
AI implementations don't fail because the software is too expensive. They fail because buyers literally do not understand how to integrate these tools into their daily workflows without breaking their businesses. If AI is the new operating system for the commercial world, teaching your buyers how to survive and thrive in it is your single most powerful distribution channel. Are you just aggressively selling software to your market, or are you actively educating them?
That's a powerful question to end on.
If you enjoyed this episode, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also, check out our other editions on account-based marketing, field marketing, channel marketing, MarTech, go-to-market, and social selling.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an edition. See you next time.